Welcome to Rooted with Rachel. My name is Rachel Boucher, and this is where you'll find fresh joy for your journey. It's been a while since I've showed up in this space. You know, I've had one of those seasons where I just felt threatened in my heart and in my soul. Thoughts ran wild, upsetting peace in my heart. Worry, which is a familiar foe of mine, attempted to wrap its icy grip around my heart. It's not really been one big event necessarily, but just tiny little occurrences that have slowly chipped away at my peace. Have you ever experienced a period of time where God is just teaching you so much about Himself and about yourself? And it's like you're drinking from a fire hydrant. You want to share, but you're just not sure yet how to articulate it. I think that's the way I've felt recently. And I'm finally at the place where I'm ready to share some of what God has been teaching me about battling worry in the hopes that it would help you as well. Over and over during this season, Luke 2:19 has just resounded in my heart, begging to be heard. In the midst of exciting times and possibly a very worrisome season, Mary, the mother of Jesus, is caught in the middle of a cosmic story woven before the eyes of the world, stuck right in the middle of the shepherds heralding the good news at the arrival of the Messiah to anyone who would hear, and their expressive eruption of praise. We have a glimpse into the innermost thoughts of Mary, and honestly, it's not much. There's not much there. It's a sentence so pregnant with meaning, it begs to be meditated on, whispering ever so loudly. Luke 2:19 says this, "But Mary treasured up all these things, pondering them in her heart." This is where I've been lately, pondering. Pondering carries the idea of throwing together thoughts and ideas, pulling from experience and seeking to organize thoughts into a coherent whole. It's gathering all the information from experience and what you know about God, holding those things and those thoughts close to your heart and connecting the dots. And as you attempt to put all the pieces together, you are seeking to understand, desiring to discern what God is teaching you in a season that feels a little uncertain. Mary held all these things close to her heart. She wasn't ready to share just yet. Listen what the Bible Hub says about this. Mary, who has just heard the shepherd's report, gathers scattered revelations. The angelic announcement, Elizabeth's words, Simeon's prophecy, and throws them together within her heart. That verb, ponder, underscores the Spirit-guided process by which believers integrate God's past faithfulness with present experience to form a deeper grasp of Christ's identity. This inward symbolo, that's the word, sets the pattern for devotional meditation. Ponder. I think pondering is helpful when we are in the middle of discovering what God wants to teach us before we share it with others. It explains where I've been lately. Treasuring, pondering. There's so much God has been teaching me in so many different areas. And one area in particular, I believe He has His finger on, is the area of how I process worry or anxiety. This is something I've always struggled with. If you battle with anxiety or worry, then this might resonate with you. There are two verses in Proverbs that are probably very familiar with. You're probably very familiar with. Maybe you've even memorized them. But I wonder if, like me, you've never put them together as verses that you can wield as a weapon in your battle with worry. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says this, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." Verse 5 defines worry like this: leaning on your own understanding. Isn't that what we do? We listen to our own thoughts. We lean and trust in our own imagination over what is true. We speculate and create scenarios of our own making, and when worry begins to take root, we know we have begun to rely on our own understanding. Leaning on our own understanding is misplaced confidence. Worry gives us a false sense of control. Dependence on our own understanding will always prove to be an unreliable and unstoppable prop. When we are not throwing ourselves onto God, trusting Him with our whole heart, we are then leaning on our own understanding and our own interpretation of our circumstances. And that is a dangerous place to be. Our heart is divided and severed in so many different directions. So all the what ifs and if onlys are us leaning on our own understanding. So how can Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 be a weapon for battling worry? I want to give you two things we can do in our fight against worry, and one thing God promises to do when we resist the temptation to depend on our own understanding. I've found when I worry, I'm really grasping for control. Worry is all about control. We are attempting to prevent or prepare for something bad happening. And if worry is about control, two action steps we can take and must take in order to be free from worry are these. And they're from Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And it's interesting that the definition for worry that it has there, lean not on your own understanding, which would be worry, it's sandwiched right between these two things, these two action steps. The first one is trust in the Lord with all your heart. And then the other side is in all your ways, submit to Him. Trusting in the Lord with all your heart is placing your full confidence in the Lord, remembering all of His past faithfulness throughout your life and the lives of His people throughout the ages. He is trustworthy. Also, notice it says with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Again, our hearts are severed and scattered when we seek to control every outcome. When I recognize I'm leaning on my own understanding and all the intrusive thoughts and crazy scenarios begin to take shape in my mind, I'm learning to invite Him into those thoughts. I pray in that moment, asking Him to help me trust Him alone with my whole heart, not holding back anything from Him, but trusting Him with my heart. Now, two side notes on this phrase, trusting Him with all your heart. First reading will tell us we are to trust Him wholly, right? Not partially, but with everything, our whole heart. However, a second reading forces us to focus on the word your. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust Him to handle your heart with care. Trust Him with your heart. He can be trusted. And if we aren't trusting Him with our whole heart, there's still part of us that is leaning on our own understanding. The second action step is in all your ways submit to Him, or in all your ways acknowledge Him. Invite Him into your worry. Acknowledge Him in each moment. Come under the truth that He is there with you in the moment, but also remember He will be with you in every future moment. That means whatever may come, whatever scenario you could imagine that makes you freeze in fear, He is already there. He is in control, not you. Come under and submit to His control over your life. This is where freedom from worry lives. Realizing that God is in control. That's it. Recognize it, know it through and through. So two things we can do in our fight with worry. Trust in the Lord with all our heart, and in all our ways submit to Him. And then the one thing that God promises to do is at the very end of chapter 6, He will make your path straight. Now, to the worrier, this verse is confusing because at first glance, that's what we crave, isn't it? A worry-free life. No more bumps or detours, we mistakenly assume worry-free means problem-free. And that is just not true. The word straight here is right, level, or smooth. When we trust in the Lord with all our heart and in all our ways submit to Him, He takes care of the rest. He guides every step. He ensures that when, and I'm going to say that word, when we face trials in the future, because they will happen, He will supply the grace needed in that moment. We can't see the road ahead, but He does. He walks ahead of us, clearing the way before us of obstacles that would cause us to drift into leaning on our own understanding. It's a promise of direction. We can have confidence that when we trust in Him with all our heart and submit to Him, recognizing His control in all our ways, He will direct us. His direction is the only sure path. So maybe like me, you've never thought of Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 as a weapon for worry. But now you have another tool in your belt for the battle ahead. Next time you're tempted to lean on your own understanding, remember, before and after worry, to trust in the Lord with all your heart, to submit to Him and recognize His presence in all your ways, and He will direct your path. Ponder the truth that He is in complete control. Hold this in your heart always.